मेरे देश की धरती सोना उगले उगले हीरे मोती मेरे देश की धरती. This famous song, sung by a legendary actor Manoj Kumar in the vocals of a famous singer Mahendra Kapoor, hit the screen of Bollywood. Those were the days when people were very patriotic. They were emotionally vulnerable with that of the Mother Earth. Hello everyone. I am Soni Puamma, lecturer, Department of English, Vidhyaashram Pre-University College, Mysuru. In my last session, we studied about a poem, of course, a genre in terms when you are old. The notes of the previous session, you can really find it in the link below. Moving forward with yet another new session, which is very aesthetic in nature. Aesthetic, which is very gorgeous in terms of nature. Heaven, if you are not on earth, by a prominent poet, KUVEMPU. This poem was translated from Kannada into English by Professor Naganna. Here, a heaven where earth is compared to that earth where we dwell is much more to the creation of God. Galloping, we will have to study something about the eminent poet KUVEMPU. He was eminent enough in describing earth the way it has to be. He says, heaven, you can find it on earth. We have to create heaven, the place where we are. Mind you, it's in the hands of human beings to create heaven out of hell and hell out of heaven. But before we gallop forward, we really have to understand, we really have to learn the inception or the creation of human beings on earth. John Milton, of course, with his two genres of poetry, that's a biblical genesis of Paradise Lost, Book 1, and Paradise Regained, Book 2, resembles the inception of human beings on earth. It so happened the first human beings of earth, known to all, of course, it's Adam and Eve. God created Adam first and then Eve was created with that of Adam's flesh and blood. Both were incepted in a garden of Eden, was right just below heaven. It was no less than any heaven at all. It was more of heavenly, wherein there was no lust, there was no corruption, there was no envy. Everyone were free out of envious and it might be any of the worldly knowledge. It was only Adam and Eve who were created by God. It so happened, the story goes with that of the Genesis, God, while creating Adam and Eve, had to explain them to stay away from the worldly knowledge. Refers to those acknowledgements of knowledge which includes lust, love and all other inceptions that's bad for livelihood. But of course, wherever you have a protagonist, you will have a villain or an antagonist. Here, you have an antagonist, Lucifer, who wants to avenge Jesus Christ. So thou, he tempts Eve with an apple. Eve takes the apple to Adam. Both eat the apple and commit a crime. And then, out of avenge or out of rage, Jesus Christ throws them onto earth. Jesus Christ asserts, sinners belong to earth. I repeat, sinners belong to earth. The one who sins belong to earth. In simple, put up in a framework, we all are the progeny of Adam and Eve. They begot us. And why was all this happening? What made earth to be the place of sinners? But KUVEMPU gives a very mature and pragmatic idea about earth. Why can't we create heaven on earth? We human beings are born with all the prowess. We have all the potential and capability to convert a heaven into hell and a hell into heaven. Just look on to the lines as it describes. Heaven, if you're not here on earth, where else could you be? If we ourselves cannot be gods, then there can be no gods. If we ourselves aren't heavenly nymphs, the nymphs are not elsewhere. If we can't create heaven, There is no heaven across at all. What is heaven? How are we described in our childhood? Our parents normally would have taught us what is heaven. If you do good things, you will go to heaven. If you sin, you will go to hell. So what is the picture of heaven? You will have beautiful fairies, beautiful angels. You all are treated with much of sophistication around. And what is hell? You're boiled in a hot oil. You're tormented for life after death. This is what the pictures it has been given to us. That's why we all know what is heaven and what is hell. Heaven is smoky white and hell is fiery red. But earth has the capability, we have the capability to create heaven on earth, because if we cannot be gods to ourselves, where is God? Have we seen God? We have just heard and seen it in movies and calendars. That's it. I still remember seeing God on calendar, and we thought that it should be like that. Look at the eyebrows of God. Look at the eyebrows of Goddess Lakshmi. How can they be so beautiful? These are the ideas that come to our mind to beget the picture of God. Yes, we can do that. Why can't we do good deeds? This earth belongs to us. This earth belongs to humanity or humankind. But yes, it goes with the proverb also, earth does not belong to you. You belong to earth. And going forward, he says, then there can be no gods. If we can't create godliness in ourselves, then there should be no God at all, because there isn't anything to do so. If we ourselves aren't heavenly nymphs, Apsara, in Kannada it is Apsare, giving you an ideal picture. You have these mythological characters, Ramba, Urvashi and Menake, wherein they all are for the merrymaking. In the Darbar of Indra, they used to give all the art performances like dance and singing. How are they to be looked upon? They were beautiful, they were very mesmerizing and completely and full of life. So, we have to be nymphs to ourselves. Yes, if you think that we are Ramba, Urvashi and Menake, let us be. What's wrong in that? It doesn't fetch you anything out of your life. Then, nymphs is a female gender. It can be termed into male gender also. There are two kinds of messengers of God. One is nymph, which is exactly of a woman or a feminine in character. The other one is Cupid, which is masculine in character. You would have seen a small baby or a kid holding an arrow with a love symbol into that. So that's a Cupid. We have to be Cupids and fairies, because this earth needs more of love and respect. We create problem. We have the problem from the same problem. We afforestate, we deforestate. We do everything that is possible. And then who has the problem again? From us, to us, for us. That's what democracy also says. It also terms to living on earth. And here we will create a lovely heaven out of earth. Going forward, he goes narrating the beauty of nature. That's where earth is. We all fail to understand the beauty of earth. Reminiscing back of the days, how nature looked like. Lushy forest, verdant across, and we had a very good life. Our ancestors would have really enjoyed their life. What we are living on present earth, it's nil. We are void. We are void because we are empty. We are empty because we find no beauty in nature. We find no earth at all. Forward, while this roaring stream rushes fast, rolling surf at the edge of waves, the tender sunshine leans on verdant gardens, and then the gentle sun makes this earth heaven. These are the characteristics of earth. Is there anything that we don't find on earth? We have everything on earth that is good enough for our survival. What is that? Why are we human beings being very greedy? Why can't we create heaven on earth? It seems to be very pejorative in approach. It seems to be like a scolding way. But give a second thought and think, where did we go wrong? God wrong in creating us? Did he go wrong? Because he thought that earth is safe in hands of human beings. Human beings will create heaven out of earth. But we failed. We could not reach the expectations of God at all. So the question ponders, God? Question mark. But why can't we be God to ourselves? Whatever it is provided, let's make it a heaven. And he describes the streams, he describes the verdant gardens, verdant lushy gardens are known as verdant gardens, the waves. Who doesn't love the rainfall or the downpour? Who doesn't love the waves? Water is one of the main source for livelihood. That's where we all survive. But how far do we understand that? And then the gentle sun make the earth heaven. After every dusk, there is a dawn. Dusk indicates pessimism in some of the approach, but dawn indicates optimism, a new beginning. When do we have to start with that? These are all the characteristics of nature. When he talks about the stream, he talks about the edge of waves, he's talk about the sunshine and verdant garden, the lushy green forest, and also the sun that makes this earth a heaven. Let's not imagine heaven. Let's not imagine it all. Let's create one. Why can't we do that? We all know that one cannot create change. One cannot bring a change at all. But why can't that change start with one? I'm not saying that we have to go across Swachh Bharat always picking up what is littered. But it is, let's give a first of not vandalizing the property. Whatever it is given to us, let's preserve for future. Not far other days when we all have to see a drastic end, a catastrophic end of humankind. Here that's what he says, let's enjoy the stream, let's enjoy the edge of waves. What is the edge of waves? In the sense that the smaller of the small things, let's enjoy. With everything of this, we will create heaven. Here is an opportunity. Let's start from today. Let's create heaven out of this earth. Next, in the splendor of harvest and of moonlight, heaven lies all over. Imbibing and spilling the song of nectar, the poet thus creates heaven on earth. You have the splendorous nature, the serenity. Do I have to remind you of those childhood days when we used to enjoy the chirping of the birds, rustling of the trees? Where are our innocence? Does your child follow that? A big time question. Do they enjoy the beauty of the nature? They would enjoy the beauty of the nature only in mobiles. But where is that innocence of providing good sense to children, stating that this is our nature, we have to protect for our survival? Here you have everything on earth, everything, whatever it is needed for livelihood, everything you have it on earth. You have the harvest of moonlight. What else you need? You have sunlight, you have moonlight, whatever it is needed. We have seen the darkness, we have seen the sunshine also. We know what is dark and what is bright. How? Only because we are connected with that of the nature. Mind you, earth is a second womb. The first womb being of your mother, earth is the second womb to all of us. And we seldom remember that. Heaven lies all over. Heaven lies in you. Heaven lies in me. Wherever you want to see a cross, you will find heaven. Just turn a back out of the window now and just see what you find there. Lushy green, something of such, or the concrete walls. God has given us everything. Whatever it is necessary in the name of development, everything is vandalized. And now we find nothing. We vandalize the property, we vandalize the nature, and the other way around, we have the problem. We are being a part of that vandalization, and we say that why global warming? What has happened to our earth? We are seeing the end in next of the generation. Who stands responsible, dears? So let's not complain about it. Whatever it is for now, whatever it is there around, let's preserve it. He says, imbibing and spilling, imbibing in the sense acquainting, taking into consideration, imbibe, to acquaint or to take an approach to yourself. Imbibing and spilling the song of nectar. You know nectar, a sweet drink, or in simple words, amrit or amrita. It's not a girl's name for your kind reference. Amrit or amrita, it's almost like an elixir of life. The poet thus creates heaven on earth. So what does the poet do? Poet creates heaven on earth. He gives a very beautiful picture of earth. If you can see, there's an earth which is sounding with pleasure. Where is that beauty? Where is that vicinity? Where is that serenity? We aren't finding it anywhere around. What happened to us? We human beings are turning out to be very greedy. Not far are the days when earth has to witness the doomsday. That's what we are witnessing on and on, the pandemics and all. And here is the glossary. Who brings you the glossary? Here is the fairy, a little girl fairy who brings you the glossary of the text. Nothing has gone out of the cover leaf, of course. You just have to know the important words. That's what I have been telling you, a nymph, female nature spirit or a fairy. Beautiful, isn't it? And next, the froth is the foam. Nature creates a foam. Foam represents, if I have to talk about the poem, foam represents purity. Nature is pure. Earth has given us everything that is needed for mankind. But did we preserve that? We haven't. And teacher's guide. What is the mark? You save environment, I'll save your future. I can give you good grades if you save the environment. And what is the question and what is the answer? The questions would be for 6 marks, one question. They would ask you the representation of earth in the viewpoint of KUVEMPU or the poet. And you have to give a critical appreciation also. Every poem, as I have recorded prior also, is nothing but the understanding. It's your perception. How you create your own music. How you create your own perception out of that. Mind you, Mahabharata, if you remember, was fought for 18 days. Why was it fought? What made Kurukshetra battle to avenge? It's all because to redeem humankind. Not far are the days when earth has to see the same destruction or the doomsday to redeem mankind and also the righteousness of morality. Goodbye to the good people out there. Sayonara.